E3 2016, Ubisoft, Canadian Matt and American Matt, of course. So, Aisha Tyler came out. Definitely the best presenter we've seen so far.
Hands down.
She was talking about how it was her 5th time hosting, made a joke about wood. She said she addressed people on the internet hating her, and I was pretty blown away why anybody would. She doesn't try too hard to seem like a gamer. She doesn't try too hard to be funny. She just is funny. That opening monologue was SNL worthy. Later on, she told a Reddit leaker to suck a bag of dicks. She called Ubisoft cheap for being French and totally got away with it. Says that they were going to pay her in wine and sarcasm. I thought she was awesome. Like she addressed everything that was coming out. Like the Just Dance people came out and they put on their little show, and you were just telling me off air, confusing, and she addresses that stuff right away. So
yeah,
she did a fantastic job. She should be hosting them all.
Yeah, she was great. Very personable.
So good for her. Good, you got a future in this business, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just Dance coming to the NX.
Oh, did they announce that?
Yeah, that was one of the first NX titles I've seen not having anything to do with Nintendo. So
I guess we'll take what we can get.
That's pretty cool. Ghost Recon going completely Metal Gear Solid 5. That's what it is. It's open world, deserty areas, infiltrating areas. They did that thing where they had people playing the game and doing voice chat, like with very, very scripted responses. Where at first I thought it was in the game, but it was like, no, these are people just like hanging out and playing the game.
Right.
It looks okay. The GameSpot reviewers had embargoes, but they were talking about it on the pre-show, and Timur Hussein said he can't say anything, but he held out his hand and he went like this. So I guess he's not too impressed, or it made him shaky in the hand. But a game that looks really cool, South Park.
Yeah, I think it's Fractured But Whole.
Oh my God. Stick of Truth was a fantastic game, and if you pre-order Fractured But Whole now, you get that for free on PS4 and Xbox One.
Awesome deal.
It was already a great game, and it had a few issues with, I mean, some people didn't like the combat. I loved it. It was a very Mario RPG style where timing really mattered.
Yeah,
you had to time the offense and the defense, otherwise you weren't going to win. It had a lot of like different sort of half-baked concepts that were thrown in, like, okay, now you need to learn how to fart, but you might not ever really need to learn how to do that again. But they have addressed that, so I think that they are definitely going to improve on it. What sounded really great was one of the South Park creators was talking about combat, and he was talking about board games and how he loves board games and tabletop miniatures. When he said that, I totally perked up. And then we saw that it's going to be sort of Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, and like if you bump an enemy into a friendly character, you can like get a little 2-hit combo thing. One of these going on. It looks fantastic. The jokes look great.
Yeah,
they have so much material to work with the Marvel Universe and the incredible amount of superhero movies coming out. So I think this is going to be one of the games of the year. Stick of the Truth was one of the games of the year when it came out, and this is going to be even better. They had mentioned that they had a lot to learn about making games.
Yeah.
So we've got them on round 2. Definitely the most exciting one of the. Have you played through Stick of Truth? No,
I didn't play through Stick of Truth, right. And it's funny that this is all bubbling up because for whatever reason, I was writing for one of my websites. I was writing a list about just really funny games, and so I did a lot of research on Stick of Truth and was pouring over a bunch of reviews and watching gameplay videos, and was just like,
yeah.
I can tell on one hand that it's a little rough around the edges in some parts, and then some of the mechanics are just kind of flippantly thrown in there. But I could also really tell that it's just like this brilliant kind of commentary and play on all of these RPG and cosplay and gamer and just the huge parody on the genre itself and on video games in general. And I definitely got the vibe. Everybody says, just feels like playing through a 12-hour-long episode of South Park, and I could definitely get that. And it looks like they have taken that to the next level in the Fractured But Whole. And it's like all the jokes were so funny and totally just play off of very normal game mechanics, like when Cartman tells a new guy to take a seat. And he goes up to the chair and it's like, press A to sit. It's like, not that one.
Yeah.
Just like simple stuff like that. And how when you're lingering in the game world and interacting with simple things, how they take a lot of the kind of boring exploration and, even something simple like going to a chair and pressing A to sit down. Mm-hmm. They can turn that into a really funny joke and weave in obscenities like it's their job, which it is.
Yeah.
And they're doing a great job. So I mean, it's something I'll be interested in. I may actually pre-order just so I can play Stick of Truth on PS4.
It's worth it, man. It's a lot of fun. Have you seen what happens when you get to Canada in the Stick of Truth?
No.
Okay, I won't spoil it because
Okay.
it's fan. You know, Uncharted is one of those games that when I'm playing, I go, I can't believe I'm playing this. And there were a lot of moments in the Stick of Truth where I go, I cannot believe they put this in a game,
Wow.
and it's still really fun. So that is going to be one of the best of the year. That looks pretty great. They showed some other things. Hey, Star Trek Bridge Crew VR. They had actors from Star Trek movies.
Oh,
LeVar
wow.
Burton. He should be hosting a couple of these game conferences. He was a real natural. He came out there with Aisha Tyler, and they have a lot of conversational chemistry. They were great together. So they had LeVar Burton. They had the guy that plays the Doctor in the new one. They had Jerry Ryan from Voyager. And they had, who was the other one? I can't remember. But they were all playing as, it was a dev guy. So in this game, you take on different roles where you play the captain, you play the engineer. You've got 4 people, your friends, in VR on a Star Trek spaceship, and you're managing all the different systems. And it looked pretty great. As soon as I saw Rare's Sea of Thieves, I thought I want this in space and I want this in Star Trek. So this is pretty cool. I would love to see this not in VR as well. I know that's going to make it more immersive, but you could totally play it on consoles. So I hope they bring that not in VR as well, but it's going to be on PSVR, Oculus, and Vive. So
Cool.
yeah, it looks pretty neat. Then we saw For Honor. The speaker came out and he was kind of doing this character, this like barbarian character, but he didn't introduce himself, and it went on for so long that people were like, what is going on with this guy? And then he would break out of it and be like, oh, by the way, I'm Teddy Ruxpin from this Ubisoft. And then he would go back into it. And I was like, man, I've seen this guy so many times at comic book shops, just with like the long beard and one of those video gamer archetypes. For Honor looks pretty cool. It's kind of like Dynasty Warriors with a bit more emphasis on one-on-one combat.
Yeah.
And the combination. This is the one that has warriors from like different eras, right? Like feudal Japanese warriors fighting barbarians. Looks pretty decent. Going to come out Valentine's Day though, right alongside Persona.
Yeah.
I think I would give that a try. Grow Home, the sequel to Grow Up.
Other way around.
That's right. Grow Up, sequel to Grow Home.
Yeah.
I played a bit of Grow Home.
Did you?
Some fun for a little bit. Interesting ideas. It looks like they're going to flesh this out and make a full-on game and take it to the next level. Sort of, it'll be its Mario Galaxy. So that could be something. What do we see here? Oh, yeah, they fused Trials and Blood Dragon.
That looked pretty interesting.
It did. I like that the speaker introduced himself as the president of Finland.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I like that Ubisoft tends to just kind of go out and have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Which makes a lot of sense. They definitely had one of the most fun conferences out there. And then we saw Steep.
Yeah.
Downhill racing. One of those flying squirrel suits and skis. They focused a lot on the instant replay mechanic and how you can like rewind and go in slow motion. I like that the slow motion affected the sound. You could make some really funny moments out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But instant replay is really nothing new. Could be fun, could be exciting, could be therapeutic. And we saw Watch Dogs 2.
Yes.
This looks a lot more improved from Watch Dogs 1.
So much better.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 1 was this blandly serious, kind of a Grand Theft Auto, but safer. I know my aunt bought it for her cousin when a sister said that this young guy can't play Grand Theft Auto, so he got that. Super boring, and it looks like they're figuring out what it is going to be fun about this, adding a lot more attitude to it, and it could be a lot better. So I definitely wasn't interested in the first one, but this one I'll pay a little more closer attention to.
Me too.
And speaking of blandly serious, we have some new Division DLC coming. They're going to be adding a new environment, the Underground.
Yeah.
And that looks all right.
Looks all right.
Yeah, it's I think Division needed a new place to go.
Yeah.
Because it is beautiful, but a little dull. So now you can go underground and you can mess around with that. Does that make you want to dive back into the Division world, Matt? No?
No, sir. No desire.
Should I read some excerpts from your Division review? Your
No,
glowing
nah, you
Division
don't have to.
review? I think it went something like, "When I close my eyes, I still see the snowy environments."
It's like a match, man. I flared up real quick, and I was hot and bright and loved it, and
Yeah,
then I just died out very very quickly. It
the,
just it was all flare and no substance.
it really swept the internet. Everybody was talking about the Division. I don't know if it was just the timing of it. It came out at the right time where Destiny was getting a bit boring and people
Hmm.
wanted a game like that. It looked so good. We'd been waiting for a long time, and then you got to it, and it was just shooting guys a lot of times. And those kind of games need like random mission generators.
Yeah.
And was this the one that said it was going to have it, or was a different MMO said it was going to have random mission generators? Any of those games, that's what they need, just to provide you with a little more
Well, yeah, and that's what I was gonna
incentive
say.
to
Because
jump
like when
in.
I was playing through the division, like for the first time, it's when everything is novel and everything is very new,
Yeah.
and you're seeing a lot of the loot for the first time, and you know you're on the bleeding edge, and maybe nobody has approached this boss from this angle, and like all the combinations of abilities and perks and weapon and gear combos are brand new. It was just it scratched that itch that I think everybody was really looking to scratch from that void that Destiny had been um, kind of growing inside us all. I mean, we wanted something new and something huge, and it felt like the division was all of that. And when especially looking forward, I was experiencing all this new stuff, and I knew there was going to be DLC and expansions down the road. Ubisoft has this really ambitious roadmap of content that they're going to be releasing. I thought, man, this is it. This is the replacement. And then of course you get to the end game and some of the later missions and really spend some time in the dark zone, and it's very homogenous and it's a lot of the same thing time and time again. Fighting never really, even with advanced abilities, the fighting never feels super different. You're just waiting on cooldown times, and I don't know, it's just it didn't really deliver. And it's hard to get excited about any of the extra stuff coming down. I see people on my friends list playing it all the time, so I know people are still really into it, and they have a ton of register. I mean, tens of millions of people are not tens of millions, but they have millions of people who are still playing this on a daily basis. So um, I guess it's working for a lot of you guys out there. It just didn't end up being my thing.
Well, there you go. That was Ubisoft. We will be back up here right after Sony is done with theirs. And actually, I'll probably have this video up by the time you see that one as well. So
Mm.
stay tuned. Leave some comments about what you've been seeing at this show. We'll read them out on one of our shows if you leave it. Wouldn't that be cool? Bye for now.